Good morning, family. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope you're having a good weekend so far. Here it is raining. Oh, my hair looks funny. Oh well, it's cute in real life, but on the camera I look like alfalfa. Oh my goodness. Oh well. But yeah, it's raining. It started raining last night after a conference that I went to, and it's still been raining like all day. So yay. We need the moisture though. I'm drinking vitamin C, because I do not want to get sick. And I've been having like drainage allergies for the last few days, and I think it's because the weather has shifted. So today we're going to be doing Proverbs 20. I think I left off right at 24. I think I titled this 25, but we'll be doing 24 through Ecclesiastes 1 through 6. So just a little FYI, the direction. And Father, we just welcome you into this study. We thank you, Father, for another day in Jesus' name. This is our catch-up day. So, oh yeah, I didn't tag anyone. Let me tag people. Did I get everyone? Let's see. Yes. Good morning. Okay. All right, so we are going to start in 24. It says, do not be envious of evil men. Good morning. God bless you. Do not be envious of evil men, nor desire to be with them. Hey, is it raining where you're at? It's raining here. It's raining a lot. It rained all night, and I got up this morning, it was still raining, and it was like loud thunderclaps last night, which has been a while since we had that. Anyways, do not be envious of evil men, nor desire to be with them, for their heart devises violence, and their lips talk of troublemaking. Through wisdom a house is built, and by understanding it is established. By knowledge the rooms are filled with all precious and pleasant riches. A wise man is strong. Yes, a man of knowledge increases in strength. For by wise counsel you will wage your own war, and in a multitude of counselors there is safety. So when it's talking about us waging our own war, check it out. In the multitude of counselors there is safety, but shouldn't your counselor have a prayer life? That's something to think about. Wisdom is too lofty for a fool. He does not open his mouth in the gate. He who plots to do evil will be called a schemer. The devising of foolishness is sin, and the scoffer is an abomination to man. If you faint in the day of adversity, your strength is small. Deliver those who are drawn toward death, and hold back those stumbling to the slaughter. If you say, surely we did not know this, does not he who weighs the hearts consider it? He who keeps the soul, does he not know it? And will he not render to each man according to their deeds? My son, eat honey because it is good, and the honeycomb which is sweet to your taste. So shall the knowledge of wisdom be to your soul. If you have found it, there is a prospect, and your hope will not be cut off. Isn't that something? Your hope will not be cut off. Do not lie in wait, O wicked man, against the dwelling of the righteous. Do not plunder his resting place. For a righteous man may fall 7 times and rise again, but the wicked shall fall by calamity. That means they won't get back up. Do not rejoice when the enemy falls, and do not let your heart be glad when he stumbles, lest the Lord see it, and it displease him, and he turn away his wrath from them. Isn't that the truth? We cannot be waiting for revenge, because God will take his wrath off. We got to let God deal with people. Do not fret because of evildoers, nor be envious of the wicked, for there will be no prospect for the evil man. The lamp of the wicked will be put out. My son, fear the Lord and the king. Do not associate with those who are given to change, for their calamity will rise suddenly. And who knows the ruin these two can bring? These things also belong to the wise. It is not good to show partiality in judgment. He who says to the wicked, you are righteous, him the people will curse. Nations will abhor him. But those who rebuke the wicked will have delight, and a good blessing will come upon them. He who gives a right answer kisses the lips. Prepare your outside work, make it fit for yourself in the field, and afterward build your house. Do not be a witness against your neighbor without cause. For would you deceive with your lips? Do not say, I will do to him just as he has done to me. I will render to the man according to his work. I went by the field of the lazy man and the vineyard of the man devoid of understanding. And there it was, all overgrown with thorns. Its surface was covered with nettles. Its stone wall was broken down. When I saw it, I considered it well. I looked on it and received instruction. A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest. So shall your poverty come like a prowler, and your need like an armed man. Isn't that something? Wow. Proverbs 25. These also are Proverbs of Solomon, which the men of Hezekiah, king of Judah, copied. Yeah. Yep. That's really good. Okay, so verse 2. It is the glory of God to conceal a matter, but the glory of kings to search out a matter. As the heavens for height and the earth for depth, so the heart of kings is unsearchable. Take away the dross from silver, and it will go to the silversmith for jewelry. Take away the wicked from being the king, and his throne will be established in righteousness. Do not exalt yourself in the presence of the king, and do not stand in the place of the great. For it is better that he say to you, come up here, than you should be put lower in the presence of the prince, whom your eyes have seen. Sorry, guys. One of the cats got out. Go. Little girl. Come on. You need to go back in there. I don't know why you think running for me is gonna keep you out of the room. getting smart, guys. They're getting really smart. Okay. Where was I? I think I was on verse 5, or maybe I was on verse 6. Take away the dross from the silver, and it will go to the silversmith for jewelry. Take away the wicked from before the king, and the throne will be established in righteousness. That's the truth. Do not exalt yourself in the presence of the king, and do not stand in the place of the great. Okay, that's where I was. For it is better that he say to you, come up here, than that you should be put in the lower presence of the prince whom your eyes have seen. Do not go hastily to court, for what will you do in the end when your neighbor has put you to shame? Debate your case with your neighbor, and do not disclose the secret to another, lest he who hears it exposes your shame, and your reputation be ruined. A word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in settings of silver, like an earring of gold, and an ornament of fine gold is a wise rebuker to an obedient ear. Like the cold of snow in time of harvest is a faithful messenger to those who send him, for he refreshes the soul of his masters. Whoever falsely boasts of giving is like clouds and wind without rain. Isn't that something? If you boast of giving, you basically lost your reward. By long forbearance, a ruler is persuaded, and a gentle tongue breaks a bone. Have you found honey? Eat as much as you need, lest you be filled with it and vomit. Go back over there. Y'all are not supposed to be over here. Sorry, guys. Okay, guys, I'm so sorry. You know what? I just got my baby up because I'm like, you gotta come get these chillings. You wanted them? You can take care of them. Because I am done. I'm done. If it was my choice, they would not be in my house. Okay. Where did I leave off at? Yeah. I'm definitely gonna have to get something to put them in. All right, so it says, have you found honey? I think that's where I was. No, let me just go back to 15. By long forbearance, a ruler is persuaded, and a gentle tongue breaks the bone. Okay, so I did get that one. Have you found honey? Eat only as much as you need, lest you be filled with it and vomit. Seldom set foot in your neighbor's house, lest he become weary of you and hate you. My dad used to always tell us, don't wear out your welcome. A man who bears false witness against his neighbor is like a club, a sword, and a sharp arrow. Confidence is in an unfaithful man in times of trouble. Confidence in an unfaithful man in a time of trouble is like a bad tooth and a foot out of joint. Ain't that the truth? Because you know you can't depend on them. Like one who takes away a garment in cold weather, and like vinegar on soda is the one who sings songs to a heavy heart. If your enemy is hungry, give him bread to eat, and if he is thirsty, give him water to drink. For so you will heap coals of fire upon his head. And the Lord will reward you. The north wind brings forth rain, and a backbiting tongue and angry countenance. So if you want to water, can't be backbiting. It is better to dwell in a corner of a housetop than in a house shared with a contentious woman. As cold water to a weary soul, so is good news from a far country. A righteous man who falters before the wicked is like a murky spring and a polluted well. It is not good to eat too much honey, so to seek one's own glory is not glory. Whosoever has no rule over his own spirit is like a city broken down without walls. That's powerful. That's powerful about the honey too. It is not good to eat much honey. That's powerful. Chapter 26. As snow in summer and rain in harvest, so honor is not fitting for a fool. Like a flinting sparrow, like a flying swallow, so a curse without cause shall not alight. That's a very strong, powerful scripture right there about legal rights. A whip for the horse, a bridle for the donkey, and a rod for the fool's back. Isn't that something? The rod and staff comfort, right? They correct us. That's crazy. A whip for the horse, a bridle for the donkey, and a rod for the fool's back. Do not answer a fool according to his folly, lest you also be like him. Answer a fool according to his folly, lest you be wise in your own eyes. He who sends a message by the hand of a fool cuts off his own feet and drinks violence. Like the legs of the lamb that hang limp is a proverb in the mouth of fools. Like one who binds a stone in a sling is he who gives honor to a fool. Like a thorn that goes into the hand of a drunkard is a proverb in the mouth of fools. The great God who formed everything gives the fool his hire and the transgressor his wages. As a dog returns to his own vomit, so a fool repeats his folly. Do you see a man wise in his own eyes? There is more hope for a fool than for him. The lazy man says, there's a lion in the road. There we go again. A fierce lion is in the streets. As a door turns on its hinges, so does the lazy man on his bed. The lazy man buries his hand in the bowl, It wearies him to bring it back to his mouth. The lazy man is wiser in his own eyes than 7 men who can answer sensibly. Oh my gosh, that is so powerful. He who passes by and meddles in a quarrel not his own is like the one who takes a dog by the ears. Like a madman who throws firebrands, arrows, and death is the man who deceives his neighbor and says, I was only joking. Oh my gosh. Where there is no wood, the fire goes out, and where there is no talebearer, strife ceases. As charcoal is to burning coals, and wood to fire, so is a contentious man to kindle strife. The words of a talebearer are like tasty trifles, and they go down into the inmost belly. Fervent lips with a wicked heart are like earthenware covered with silver dross. He who hates disguises it with his lips, and lays up deceit in himself. When he speaks kindly, do not believe him, for there are 7 abominations in his heart. Though his hatred is covered by deceit, his wickedness will be revealed before the assembly. Thank God the Lord will reveal that, so that nobody is left in the dark. Whoever digs a pit will fall into it, and he who rolls a stone will have to roll it back on him. A lying tongue hates those who are crushed by it, and a flattering mouth works ruin. 27. Do not boast about tomorrow, for you do not know what a day may bring forth. Let another man praise you and not your own mouth, a stranger and not your own lips. A stone is heavy and sand is weighty, but a fool's wrath is heavier than both of them. Wrath is cruel and anger is a torrent, but who is able to stand before jealousy? Open rebuke is better than love carefully concealed. That's really true. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful. I was trying to say that the other day, but I couldn't remember the last half of it. The kisses of the enemy are deceitful. A satisfied soul loathes the honeycomb, but to a hungry soul, every bitter thing is sweet. That's true. Wow. Like a bird that wanders from its nest is a man who wanders from his place. Ointment and perfume delight the heart, and the sweetness of a man's friend gives delight by hearty counsel. Do not forsake your own friend or your father's friend, nor go to your brother's house in the day of your calamity. Better is a neighbor nearby than a brother far away. My son, be wise and make my heart glad, that I may answer him who reproaches me. A prudent man foresees evil and hides himself. The simple pass on and are punished. Take the garment of him who is surety for a stranger, and hold it in a pledge when he is surety for a seductress. He who blesses his friend with a loud voice, rising up early in the morning, it will be counted a curse to him. A continual dripping on a very rainy day and a contentious woman are alike. Whoever restrains her restrains the wind and grasps oil with his right hand. As iron sharpens iron, so a man sharpens the countenance of his friend. Whoever keeps the fig tree will eat its fruit, so he who waits on his master will be honored. As in water, face reflects face, so a man's heart reveals the man. Hell and destruction are never full, so the eyes of man are never satisfied. Ain't that the truth? The refining pot is for silver and the furnace for gold, and a man is valued by what others say of him. Though you grind a fool into mortar with a pestle along with crushed grain, yet his foolishness will not depart from it. Be diligent to know the state of your flocks and attend to your herds. For riches are not forever, nor does a crown endure all generations. When the hay is removed and the tender grass shows itself, and the herbs of the mountains are gathered in, the lambs will provide your clothing, and the goats the price of a field. You shall have enough goat's milk for your food, for the food of your household, and the nourishment of your maidservants. So much richness in all of this. I'm definitely gonna have to break it down. Definitely gonna have to break some of this down because it's just got so much. It teaches you everything about life. 28. The wicked flee when no one pursues, but the righteous are bold as a lion. Because of the transgression of a land, many are its princes. But by a man of understanding and knowledge, right will be prolonged. A poor man who oppresses the poor is like a driving rain, which leaves no food. Those who forsake the law praise the wicked, but such as keep the law contend with them. Evil men do not understand justice, but those who seek the Lord will understand all. Better is the poor who walks in his integrity than one perverse in his ways, though he be rich. Whoever keeps the law is a discerning son, but a companion of gluttons shames his father. One who increases his possessions by usury and extortion gathers it for him who will pity the poor. One who turns away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayer is an abomination. That's powerful. Whoever causes the upright to go astray is in an evil way. He himself will fall into his own pit, but the blameless will inherit good. Now that's a law of retribution right there. The rich man is wise in his own eyes, but the poor who has understanding searches him out. When the righteous rejoice, there is great glory, but when the wicked arise, men hide themselves. He who covers his sins will not prosper, but whoever confesses and forsakes them will have mercy. Happy is the man who is always reverent, but he who hardens his heart will fall into calamity. Isn't that true? Like when we harden our heart against God, we start falling into all kinds of things. So instead of asking God to soften our heart, we ask God to keep us reverent, help us to be reverent to his presence, right? Like a roaring lion and a charging bear is a wicked ruler over poor people. That is so true. A ruler who lacks understanding is a great oppressor, but he who hates covetousness will prolong his days. A man burdened by bloodshed will flee into a pit, let no one help him. Whoever walks blamelessly will be saved, but he who is perverse in his ways will suddenly fall. He who tills his land will have plenty of bread, but he who follows frivolity will have poverty enough. A faithful man will abound with blessings, but he who hastens to be rich will not go unpunished. To show partiality is not good, because for a piece of bread a man will transgress. A man with an evil eye hastens after riches, and does not consider that poverty will come upon them. That's, that jealousy is evil eye. Covetousness is an evil eye. He who rebukes a man will find more favor afterward than he who flatters with the tongue. Whoever robs his father and mother and says it is no transgression, the same is a companion to a destroyer. He who is of a proud heart stirs up strife, but he who trusts the Lord will be prospered. He who trusts in his own heart is a fool, but whoever walks wisely will be delivered. He who gives to the poor will not lack, but he who hides his eyes will have many curses. When the wicked arise, men hide themselves, but when they perish, the righteous increase. That's powerful. Chapter 29. He who is often rebuked and hardens his neck will suddenly be destroyed, and that without remedy. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when a wicked man rules, the people groan. Whoever loves wisdom makes his father rejoice, but a companion of harlots wastes his wealth. The king establishes the land by justice, but he who receives bribes overthrows it. A man who flatters his neighbor spreads a net for his feet. By transgression an evil man is snared, but the righteous sings and rejoices. The righteous considers the cause of the poor, but the wicked does not understand such knowledge. Scoffers set a city aflame, but wise men turn away wrath. If a wise man contends with a foolish man, whether the fool rages or laughs, there is no peace. The bloodthirsty hate the blameless, but the upright seek his well-being. A fool vents all of his feelings, but a wise man holds them back. If a ruler pays attention to lies, all of his servants become wicked. A poor man and the oppressor have this in common. The Lord gives light to the eyes of both. That's so true. The king who judges the poor with truth, his throne will be established forever. The rod and rebuke give wisdom, but a child left to himself brings shame to his mother. When the wicked are multiplied, transgression increases, and the righteous will see their fall. That is crazy. The rod of rebuke gives wisdom, but a child left to himself brings shame to his mother. And the title on top of it says, How to Spoil a Child. That's crazy. The child left to himself brings shame to his mother. So that's basically like if you're letting social media raise your kids, or you're letting the streets raise the kids, or, you're not really actually mothering or fathering them, then they'll bring shame to you, When the wicked are multiplied, transgression increases, but the righteous will see their fall. Correct your son, and he will give you rest. Yes, he will give delight to your soul. Where there is no revelation, the people cast off restraint, but happy is he who keeps the law. A servant will not be corrected by mere words, for though he understands, he will not respond. Do you see a man hasty in his words? There is more hope for a fool than for him. That's wild. So we've seen all the things about what will happen to a fool, but he's saying now, a man that's hasty in his words, like quick to talk, always, just a fast talker, all of that. There's more hope for him than a fool. There's more hope for a fool than for him. That's powerful. He who pampers his servant from childhood will have him as a son in the end. An angry man stirs up strife, and a furious man abounds in transgression. A man's pride will bring him low, but the humble in spirit will retain honor. Whoever is a partner with a thief hates his own life. He swears to tell the truth, but reveals nothing. Isn't that something? Partners in crime. Whoever partners with a thief hates their own life. Why? Because they're putting their own selves in danger to be a friend of a thief. That's powerful. The fear of man brings a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord shall be safe. So that's basically saying, don't walk in the fear of man. Trust God. Do whatever he is calling you to do without apology. Many seek the ruler's favor, but justice for man comes from the Lord. An unjust man is an abomination to the righteous. He who is upright in the way is an abomination to the wicked. I think she's up there. They were coming out probably because their mom was out, but I put her outside. I'm like, but I just heard them. It sounds like they're up there at the top. Oh, pray for me, guys. The cats, just pray for me. Okay, good. They're all talking to her. They're so cute, though. Oh, help it, Lord. Chapter 30. The words of Agur, the son of Jakeh, his countenance. This man declared to Ithiel and Ukal. Surely I am more stupid than any man, and do not have the understanding of a man. I neither learned wisdom, nor have knowledge of the Holy One. Then this is his confession to God. Who has ascended into heaven or descended? Who has gathered the wind in his fists? Who has bound the waters in a garment? Who has established all the ends of the earth? What is his name, and what is his son's name, if you know? Every word of God is pure. He is a shield to those who put their trust in him. Do not add to his words, lest he rebuke you and you be found a liar. Agur, the son of Jakeh, his utterance. Okay, when you talk about utterance, this is a prophecy. Every word of God is pure. He is a shield to those who put their trust in him. Do not add to his words, lest he rebuke you and you be found a liar. Then his prayer to God. That was his confession. Who has ascended into heaven or descended? Who has gathered the wind with his fists? Who has bound the waters in a garment? Who has established all of the ends of the earth? What is his name, and what is his son's name, if you know? Sounds like he had a revelation there. What do you think? What do you think? 2 things I request of you. Deprive me not before I die. Remove falsehood and lies far from me. Give me neither poverty nor riches. That means he wants to be balanced. Feed me with the food allotted to me. Like, give me my portion. I don't want your portion. I don't want their portion. I don't want more than what I can handle. Just give me the portion that you have purposed for my life, and I will delight myself in my own portion. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with the food allotted to me, lest I be full and deny you and say, who is the Lord? Or lest I be poor and steal and profane the name of my God. Doesn't that sound like the prayer of Jabez? Jabez, his prayer. That sounds very similar. Verse 10, his admonition to men. Do not malign a servant to his master, lest he curse you and you be found guilty. Which we know malign, that's basically like making someone's character look bad, basically, you know. Then it says 2 fourfold enumerations and 4 generations. And that's verses 11 through 14. There is a generation that curses its father and does not bless its mother. There is a generation that is pure in its own eyes, yet it is not washed from its filthiness. There is a generation, oh, how lofty are their eyes, and their eyelids are lifted up. There is a generation whose teeth are like swords, and whose fangs are like knives, to devour the poor from off of the earth, and the needy from among men. So each time that he's saying there's a generation, that's one generation, then another generation, then another generation, then another generation. And if I'm not mistaken, the generations run like 40 years or something like that, but don't quote me on it, okay? Then the next part of it is 2 beggars and 4 insatiable things, and that's verse 15 and 16. The leech has 2 daughters, give and give. There are 3 things that are never satisfied, 4 never say enough: the grave, the barren womb, the earth that is not satisfied with water, and the fire never says enough. That's powerful. Mocking of parents cursed. The eye that mocks his father and scorns obedience to his mother, the ravens of the valley will pluck it out, and the young eagles will eat it. There are 3 things which are too wonderful for me, yes, 4 which I do not understand: the way of an eagle in the air, the way of a serpent on a rock, the way of a ship in the midst of the sea, and the way of a man with a virgin. This is the way of an adulterous woman. She eats and wipes her mouth and says, I've done no wickedness. So that part right there was 4 fourfold enumerations and 4 inscrutable things. Now we're doing 4 disquieting things, verse 21 through 23. For 3 things the earth is perturbed, yes, for 4 it cannot bear up. For a servant when he reigns, a fool when he is filled with food, a hateful woman when she is married, and a maidservant who succeeds her mistress. 4 little wise things, and that starts from 24 to 28. There are 4 things which are little on earth, but they are exceedingly wise. The ants are a people not strong, yet they prepare their food in the summer. The rock badgers are a feeble folk, yet they make their homes in the crags. The locusts have no king, yet they advance in ranks. The spider skillfully grasps with its hands, and it is in kings' palaces. 4 graceful things, verse 29 through 31. There are 3 things which are majestic in pace, yes, 4 which are stately in walk. A lion which is among mighty beasts and does not turn away from any. A greyhound, a male goat also, and a king whose troops are with him. His admonition to man, the last 2 verses. If you have been foolish in exalting yourself, or if you have devised evil, put your hand on your mouth. For as the churning of milk produces butter, the wringing the nose produces blood, so the forcing of wrath produces strife. That's powerful. The words of King Lemuel's mother. This is Proverb 31. The words of King Lemuel, the utterance which his mother taught him. What, my son? And what, son of my womb? And what, son of my vows? Do not give your strength to women, nor your ways to that which destroys kings. It is not for kings, O Lemuel. It is not for kings to drink wine, nor for princes intoxicating drink, lest they drink and forget the law, and pervert the justice of all of the afflicted. Give strong drink to him who is perishing, and wine to those who are bitter of heart. Let him drink and forget his poverty, and remember his misery no more. Admonitions to justice. Open your mouth for the speechless, in the cause of all who are appointed to die. Open your mouth, judge righteously, and plead the cause of the poor and needy. The model woman, 35-fold description, her personal character and value. Who can find a virtuous wife? For her worth is far above rubies. Her husband's confidence. The heart of her husband safely trusts her, so he will have no lack of gain. She does him good and not evil all of the days of her life. Her ceaseless labors. She seeks wool and flax and willingly works with her hands. She is like the merchant ships. She brings her food from afar. She also rises while it is yet night and provides food for her household and a portion for her maidservants. She considers a field and buys it. From her profits she plants a vineyard. She girds herself with strength and strengthens her arms. She perceives that her merchandise is good, and her lamp does not go out at night. She stretches out her hands to the distaff, and her hand holds the spindle. Isn't that so powerful? She brings food from afar. She also rises while it is yet night to provide food for her household. Because guys, like back in that day, everything wasn't instant like how we have. My mom watches this lady. It's called The Village Life on YouTube. And I laughed at her the first time that she came over here wanting to watch that. I'm like, oh my goodness, Mom, what are you watching? But I'll sit and watch her shows with her and stuff. And we just bond because my mom doesn't really have a life anymore. So that's something that she can talk about, right? Other than politics. And so I sat with her and watched this lady. I think she's like in Africa or Kenya. I'm not sure where she's at. And they're building a house off of the money that she's making from her YouTube channel. And they literally like they kill their meat or they go to a market, but their markets are nothing like our markets. The produce and everything, they still have to go home and clean it and do different things for it to be, able to be eaten and things like that. And so we watch her cook, and she like takes a whole chicken and cooks for her whole village and cuts it into little pieces and makes rice and vegetables and different things, and they cook outside in a big huge pot with firewood underneath it, like things like that. So when I was reading this, I literally got an image of the Proverbs 31 woman, and that's literally what she did. She was cooking before everybody got up. She got up first to make sure that her family was taken care of. She was also industrial because she considered a field and she bought it from her profits. She planted a vineyard from her profits. She had a garden, a whole huge vineyard, That's powerful. Her lamp doesn't go out by night. That's not just talking about, the lamp of life, but that's also that's a spiritual concept right there. She stretches out her hands to the distaff, and her hand holds the spindle. So she even weaves the clothes and things like that, made the clothes for the family. Her good works of charity. She extends her hand to the poor. Yes, she reaches her hands out to the needy. So not only is she taking care of her home, but she's also giving to the poor. Her household. She is not afraid of snow for her household, for all of her household is clothed with scarlet. Her personal appearance. She makes tapestry for herself. Her clothing is fine linen and purple. So she's a woman of royalty. We know that through Lydia. Her husband's respect. Her husband is known in the gates when he sits among the elders of the land. Now, we just read something earlier where it says that he won't speak in the gates or something like that. That's basically what that means. To be known in the gates is to be known in the city, you know, doing something powerful in helping the city, ruling the city, you know, that kind of thing. Her industry. She makes linen garments and sells them and supplies sashes for the merchants. Her character. Strength and honor are her clothing. That's a real garment that God places on us. She shall rejoice in a time to come. She opens her mouth with wisdom. And on her tongue is the law of kindness. She's a very kind woman. She watches over the ways of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. That means she's diligent in labor. Her praise and goodliness. Her children rise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praises her. Many daughters have done well, but you excel them all. Charm is deceitful and beauty is passing, but a woman who fears the Lord, she shall be praised. Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates. That's powerful. And I'll break this down because there's more to it than just what I shared, of course. That is so powerful. Her children rise up and call her blessed, and her husband also, and he praises her. That's speaking about having a good education and then also divine experiences. She's leading them in the ways of God. They're well trained. Children who are well trained will rise up and call you blessed, meaning they will do what it is that you taught them, you know. That's really good. Ecclesiastes. We are in a new book. The Vanity of Life, Chapter 1. The words of the preacher, the son of David, king in Jerusalem. Vanity of vanities, says the preacher. Vanity of vanities. All is vanity. I can literally hear that. Vanity of vanities. Vanity of vanities. All is vanity. Like, I don't know. What profit has a man from all of his labor in which he toils under the sun? Man's works. One generation passes away, and another generation comes, but the earth abides forever. The sun also rises, and the sun goes down, and hastens to the place where it arose. The wind goes toward the south and turns around to the north. The wind whirls about continually and comes again on its circuit. All of the rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not full. To the place from which the rivers come, there they return again. All things are full of labor. Man cannot express it. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing. That which has been is what will be. That which is done is what will be done, and there is nothing new under the sun. Is there anything of which it may be said, see, this is new? It has already been in ancient times before us. And that is so true. Like when I started learning that there was incest, there was rapes, there was different things back in the Old Testament. I remember I went on a fast one year. And I said I was going to read Genesis through my whole fast. Oh my gosh, all the things that happened in Genesis, I'm like, this was happening way back then. That's crazy. You know, some of the things that you think, oh, well, you know, this is new, blah, 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 blah. No, it happened before. And it was written about so that we would learn. from those things, you know? So I think that's really cool. Man's work will soon be forgotten. There is no remembrance of former things, nor will there be any remembrance of things that are to come by those who will come after. So that was Ecclesiastes 1, right? So the first part was just the introduction and theme. Vanity is vanity, right? Then the second part, verse 3, it says, vanity, man's works, 1, 3 through 11, a man's works are unprofitable. And then starting on 4, it says, man's works are transitory for eternal transience. And then verse 8, man's work never satisfies. Then verse 9, man's works are repetitious. Then verse 11, man's works will soon be forgotten. So like it's broken down into little portions. And then we're on to verse 12. And 12 through 14 is talking about vanities, a personal search of a backslidden preacher. Personal pronouns 1 through 12, 1:12 through 2:26. Vanity, all man's works. So this one says, the grief of wisdom. I, the preacher, was king over Israel in Jerusalem, and I set my heart to seek and search out by wisdom concerning all that is done under heaven. This burdensome task God has given to the sons of man, by which they may be exercised. I have seen all the works that are done under the sun, and indeed all is vanity and grasping for the wind. Verse 15 talks about vanity, wisdom, knowledge, madness, and folly, 15 through 18. What is crooked cannot be made straight, and what is lacking cannot be numbered. I communed with my heart, saying, look, I have attained greatness, and I have gained more wisdom than all who were before me in Jerusalem. My heart has understood great wisdom and knowledge, and I set my heart to know wisdom and to know madness and folly. I perceived that this is also grasping for the wind. For in much wisdom is much grief, and he who increases knowledge increases sorrow. And that's something. He who increases knowledge increases sorrow. Wow. And then he says, I set my heart to know wisdom, to know madness and folly. Madness is basically like people with mental disabilities, things like that. Because remember, it talked about David acting like a madman and da-da-da-da. So that's interesting. And he said, I perceive that this is also grasping for the wind, which means you can't catch it. You can't figure it out. For in much wisdom is grief, and he who increases knowledge increases sorrow. Chapter 2. I said in my heart, come now, and I will test you with mirth. Therefore enjoy pleasure, but surely this was also a vanity. I said of laughter, madness, and out of mirth, what does it accomplish? I searched in my heart to how to gratify my flesh with wine, while guiding my heart with wisdom, and how to lay hold on folly, till I might see what is good for the sons of men to do under heaven all of the days of their lives. I made my works great. I built houses and planted vineyards. I made myself gardens and orchards and planted all kinds of trees in them. I made myself water pools from which to water the growing trees of the grove. Excuse me. I acquired male and female servants and had servants born in my house. Yes, I had greater possessions of herds and flocks than all who were in Jerusalem before me. I also gathered for myself silver and gold and the special treasures of kings and of the provinces. I acquired male and female singers, the delights of the sons of men, and musical instruments of all kinds. So I became great and excelled more than all who were before me in Jerusalem. Also my wisdom remained with me. Whatever my eyes desired, I did not keep from them. Excuse me. I did not withhold my heart from any pleasure, for my heart rejoiced in all of my labor, and this was my reward from all of my labor. Then I looked on all of the works that my hands had done, and on the labor which I had toiled. And indeed, all was vanity and grasping for the wind. There was no profit under the sun. Then I turned myself to consider wisdom and madness and folly. For what can the man do who succeeds the king? Only what he has already done. Then I saw that wisdom exceeds folly, as light excels darkness. The wise man's eyes are in his head, but the fool walks in darkness. Yet I myself perceived that the same event happens to them all, which we know. We all die. We all come to death, right? So I said in my heart, as it happens to the fool, it also happens to me. And why was I then more wise? Then I said in my heart, this is also vanity. For there is no more remembrance of the wise, excuse me, than of the fool forever. Since all that now is will be forgotten in the days to come. And how does a wise man die? As the fool. Therefore I hated my life, because the work that was done under the sun was distressing to me. For all is vanity and grasping for the wind. Then I hated all of my labor in which I had toiled under the sun, because I must leave it to the man who will come after me. And who knows whether he will be wise or a fool? Yet he will rule over all of my labor in which I toiled, and in which I have shown myself wise under the sun. This also is vanity. Oh, excuse me. Therefore I turned my heart and despaired of all the labor in which I had toiled under the sun. And there was a man whose labor is with wisdom and knowledge and skill, yet he must leave his heritage to a man who has not labored for it. This also is vanity and a great evil. For what has man for all of his labor and for the striving of his heart with which he has toiled under the sun? For all of his days are sorrowful, and his work burdensome. Even in the night his heart takes no rest. This is also vanity. Nothing is better for a man than that he should eat and drink, and that his soul should enjoy good in his labor. This also I saw was from the hand of God. For who can eat and who can have enjoyment more than I? For God gives wisdom and knowledge and joy to a man who is good in his sight. But to the sinner, he gives the work of gathering and collecting, that he may give to him who is good before God. This also is vanity and grasping for the wind. That's powerful right there. Verse 24 through 26, vanity, a sinner's life of hard labor ends only in judgment. For his rebellion, his works are left to the righteous. That's powerful. So that was broken down into some sections too. I'm going to tell you what the sections are. So starting in section 1, that's verses 1 through 3, it talked about vanity and personal pleasures. Verses 4 through 6 is talking about vanity and great works. 7 through 9, vanity, riches, and glory. 10 through 11, vanity, unbridled lusts. 12 through 17, vanity, wisdom, and folly. 18 and 19, vanity and security of works. 20 through 21, vanity, unworthy inheritors. 22 through 23 is vanity, no personal profit from own labors. And then 24 through 26 is what I just told you guys. A sinner's life of hard labor ends only in judgment. For his rebellion, his works are left to the righteous. Now we go on to Ecclesiastes chapter 3. This is a very familiar one for a lot of people. Man's span of life, verses 1 through 22. This is a 28-fold weary round of humans' lives. To everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck what is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to gain and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. That's literally a life cycle. The next thing is the great question to the laboring man, which is verse 9. What profit has the worker from that in which he labors? Then verses 10 through 11 is a sixfold personal observation of life and death, man's labor and ignorance. I have seen the God-given task with which the sons of men are to be occupied. He has made everything beautiful in its time. Also, he has put eternity into their hearts, except that no one can find out the work that God does from the beginning to the end. Then blessings of opportunities. Excuse me. Verses 12 and 13. I know that nothing is better for them than to rejoice and to do good in their lives, and also that every man should eat and drink and enjoy the good of all of his labor. It is the gift of God. Then verse 14 through 15, man's chief end in life. I know that whatever God does, it shall be forever. Nothing can be added to it and nothing taken from it. God does it that men should fear before him. That which is has already been, and what is to be has already been, and God requires an account of what is past. Man's wickedness and judgment, verse 16 through 17. Moreover, I saw under the sun, in the place of judgment, wickedness was there. In the place of righteousness, iniquity was there. I said in my heart, God shall judge the righteous and the wicked, for there is a time for every purpose and for every work. Then verses 18 all the way through 20. Man dies like the beast, but their spirits go to different places. I said in my heart concerning the condition of the sons of men, God tests them that they may see that they themselves are like animals. For what happens to the sons of men also happens to animals. One thing befalls them. As one dies, so dies the other. Surely they have all only one breath. Man has no advantage over animals, for all is vanity. All go to one place, all are from the dust, and all return to dust. Who knows the spirit of the sons of men, which goes upward, and the spirit of the animal, which goes down to the earth? A backslider's conclusion, verse 22. So I perceive that nothing is better than that a man should rejoice in his own works, for that is his heritage. For who can bring him to see what will happen after him? Chapter 4. Then I returned and considered all of the oppression that was done under the sun, and look, the tears of the oppressed, but they have no comforter. On the side of their oppressors there is power, but they have no comforter. Therefore I praise the dead who were already dead more than the living who are still alive. Yet better than both is he who has never existed, who has not even seen evil work that has been done under the sun. Again, I saw that for all toil and every skillful work, a man is envied by his neighbor. This also is vanity and grasping for the wind. Isn't that something? Wow. The fool folds his hands and consumes his own flesh. Better a handful with quietness than both hands full together with toil and grasping for the wind. Then I returned and I saw vanity under the sun. Thank you. There is one alone without companion. He has neither son nor brother. Yet there is no end to all of his labors. Nor is his eye satisfied with riches, but he never asks. For whom do I toil and deprive myself of good? This also is vanity and a grave misfortune. Two are better than one, because they have a good reward for their labor. For if they fall, one will lift up his companion. But woe to him who is alone when he falls, for he has no one to help him up. Again, if two lie down together, they will keep warm. But how can one be warm alone? Though one may be overpowered by another, two can withstand him, and a threefold cord is not easily broken. Better a poor and wise youth than an old and foolish king who will be admonished no more. For he comes out of prison to be king, although he was born poor in his kingdom. I saw all the living who walk under the sun. They were with the second youth who stands in his place. There was no end of all the people over whom he was made king. Yet those who came afterward will not rejoice in him. Surely this is also vanity and grasping for the wind. So I'm going to break that one down. The first half of it was vanities alternated with advice and instruction. Oppressions by others and labors for others, verses 1 through 6. And then vanity, a miser's life. That's verses 7 and 8. And then advice, two are better than one, and the reasons why. Verses 9 through 12. And then verse 13 through 16, vanity, no justice or pleasure in life. Which I like that it's broken down like that in my Bible, because when you just read the proverb all together, or the Ecclesiastes all together, it doesn't make sense because it jumps. But now you see what the subject matter is as it jumps to different subjects, Okay. Chapter 5. Fear God and keep your vows. This is the 14-fold advice on wisdom, works, vows, and justice. And this goes from verse 1 all the way down to verse 9. Walk prudently when you go to the house of God, and draw near to hear rather than to give sacrifice of fools, for they do not know that they do evil. Do not be rash with your mouth, and let not your heart utter anything hastily before God. For God is in heaven, and you are on earth. Therefore let your words be few. For a dream comes through much activity, and a fool's voice is known by as many words. When you make a vow to God, do not delay to pay it, for he has no pleasure in fools. Pay what you have vowed. Better not to vow than to vow and not pay. Do not let your mouth cause your flesh to sin, nor say before the messenger of God that was an error. Why should God be angry at your excuse and destroy the work of your hands? For in the multitude of dreams and many words there is also vanity, but fear God. If you see the oppression of the poor and the violent perversion of justice and righteousness in a province, do not marvel at the matter, for high official watches over high official, and higher officials are over them. Moreover, the profit of the land is for all. Even the king is served from the field. That's powerful. Vanity, love, and money. Verse 10. He who loves silver will not be satisfied with silver, nor he who loves abundance with increase. This is also vanity. Verse 11 and 12. Be satisfied with the fruit of your own labor. When goods increase, they increase who eat them. So what profit have the owners except to see them with their own eyes? The sleep of a laboring man is sweet, whether he eats little or much, but the abundance of the rich will not permit him to sleep. That's powerful. Then vanity, riches saved by others are profitless. And that takes you from 13 all the way down to 17. There is a severe evil which I have seen under the sun, riches kept for their owner to his hurt. But those riches perish through misfortune. When he begets a son, there is nothing in his hand. As he came from his mother's womb, naked shall he return, to go as he came, and he shall take nothing from his labor, which he may carry away in his hand. And this also is a severe evil. Just exactly as he came shall he go. And what profit has he who has labored for the wind? All the days he also eats in darkness, and he has much sorrow and sickness and anger. And then the last few verses is talking about enjoying your own labor all of the days of your life. Here is what I have seen. It is good and fitting for one to eat and drink and to enjoy the good of his labor, in which he toils under the sun all the days of his life, which God gives him for his heritage. As for every man to whom God has given riches and wealth and given him power to eat of it, to receive his heritage and rejoice in his labor, this is the gift of God. For he will not dwell unduly on the days of his life, because God keeps him busy with the joy of his heart. That's so good. And then the last chapter for the day. We made it. We made it. We made it. We made it. This one's broken down into a few parts. So the first part is vanities and evils. No power to enjoy the many blessings of life. And that's just verse 1 and 2. Then verse 3 through 6 is raising a large family and then dying a pauper. And then verse 7 through the rest. No, 7 through 9 is desires and appetites are never satisfied. And then the last little bit, 10 through 12, is continual questionings concerning the good life. So, there is an evil which I have seen under the sun, and it is common among men, a man whom God has given riches and wealth and honor, so that he lacks nothing for himself of all his desires, yet God does not give him power to eat of it, but a foreigner consumes it. This is vanity, and it is an evil affliction. That's powerful. It is an evil affliction. So if you're not able to eat of your own labor, then it's an evil affliction. That's powerful. If a man begets 100 children and lives many years, so that the days of his years are many, but his soul is not satisfied with goodness, or indeed he has no burial, I say that a stillborn child is better than he. Wow. For it comes in vanity and departs in darkness, and its name is covered with darkness. Though it has not seen the sun or known anything, this has more rest than that man. Even if he lives 1,000 years twice, but has not seen goodness, do not all go to one place. Then the next part. All the labor of man is for his mouth, and yet the soul is not satisfied. For what more has the wise man than the fool? What does the poor man have? Who knows how to walk before the living? Blessed is the sight of the eyes, than the wondering of desire, And also, this is also vanity and grasping for the wind. I love that. I love that last little bit. Better is the sight of the eyes than the wondering of desire. Wow. Oh my gosh. That's talking about eyesight. That's powerful. Verse 10 through 12, the last part. Whatever one is, he has been named already. For it is known that he is man, and he cannot contend with him who is mightier than he. Since there are many things that increase vanity, how is man the better? For who knows what is good for man in life? All of the days of his life are vain, which he passes like a shadow. Who can tell a man what will happen after him under the sun? That is so powerful. Better is the sight of eyes than the wondering of desire. Woo, hoo, hoo, hoo. That was powerful. That was powerful. I love Ecclesiastes too. It's just like Proverbs. It's very, very rich. It even talks about passing away in Ecclesiastes, so we'll talk about that whenever we get there. But the time of life, you know, a time to be born, a time to refrain from. I remember whenever God told me to refrain from hugging. I never ever heard God say that before. But he told me in a season to refrain from hugging. And that gave me so much peace to let me know that I could walk away from a situation that was not healthy for me, you know. That's so powerful. A time to plant and a time to pluck what has been planted. A time to kill and a time to heal. So powerful. Okay, guys, we made it through. I bless you guys in the name of Jesus. I pray that you have a good rest of your day. For those that will be in class, I will see y'all over on the class side in just a minute. But for the rest of you guys, thank you for joining. I pray that you have a good day. And I will see y'all Monday. Monday, we will do Ecclesiastes 7 through 12 and Song of Solomon 1 through 8. The romance book. I like Song of Solomon. So yeah, we'll do that. And then after Song of Solomon, we go into Isaiah. And I think Isaiah will take us through the week because it's got so many chapters. Yeah, it's going to take us through the end of the week. Isn't that awesome? We'll start in Jeremiah on the 31st. That's awesome. So, enjoy your weekend, and thank you for joining. Amen.